Hello, GOG family. Today we're going to talk about the Ultimate Alliance campaign. So there's two ways to access. One is from the small button over here on the left of your screen, and one is from the Event Center. We're going to go ahead and look through the Event Center. I haven't jumped in with my main here yet, and my alliance is holding in second place, so I'm about to go ahead and go for it. Typically, you want to try and plunder whoever's ahead of you to, bring their score down, bring yours up. But I've looked around in Kingdom 16 and they're pretty well stacked in all their buildings, and they're just way older of a kingdom, and so their players are more beastly. So I've looked around at some of the other kingdoms here, and I think I'm going to try 599. It just depends. They only have one building that's got less than 1 million troops stacked up in there, and I think I might be able to get in. So we'll try that. So important topics for Ultimate Alliance campaign. First off, your troops don't really die. So this is a really safe event. You can really be aggressive, play hard, and if your troops get hurt, they just go to the Kingdom Hospital. They heal with a timer, or you can heal them with gold if you want to do it faster. But they heal with the timer, and any of them that haven't healed by the end of the event, you just get returned to you intact for free. So it's really risk-free, and you can flex your stats, be really aggressive, go up against bigger castles, see who you can beat, check the battle reports, kind of analyze what you need to beef up and how they're beating you. So that's pretty important. Each kingdom, you can kind of see what's going on in general by clicking on them. From here, it only gives you, the enter if you click there. If you click treasure, then you get the map that pops up, the same as if you just click the button on the left side, that little tab for it. So as you can see right now, there's no one plundering in any of their buildings, but it looks like their buildings are pretty, over here at least, inaccessible. But, we'll see what we can do. In this one, there's no one plundering, but if I click the coordinates and look at their kingdom, I can see that here, I believe it was this building, there's only 230,000 troops in there, and the capacity to defend is only 818. So that means that this has to be a farm or a really low-level castle, because they don't even have a very high reinforcement capacity. So that's the tower I'm going to go for. Now, it's possible, since this, right here, this C39 is over 1 billion power. So, it's always possible they could run me out. But there's really only one way to find out if they're capable of that. Now, in general, you can send one troop sometimes, to plunder, set ghost rallies to hide all your others. But in this case, since I'm going to have to knock out 230,000 troops, they're probably just farm troops. I haven't scouted in there yet. Let's see. I like to just add a little bit of help when I'm going into clear towers here. So let's go ahead and just pop this guy on here. That'll give me some attack without being too much gold. So when you're ready to rock, you're just going to click on here. You're going to say you want to use your campaign teleport. This is going to take me to their kingdom. And it's not going to give me a choice of where it's really going to drop me in that much. I'm going to let it drop me there. Some important tips here is, see how it doesn't let you kind of really move that around. You just kind of have to place it. Okay, so I'm here now. I've poured it in wearing a shield in case anybody was to rapid attack me. So I'm going to go ahead and click this tower. I'm not going to scout it because there's only 230,000. It only has a reinforcement capacity of 818. So I know this is a smaller player than me that's in there. So I'm going to tell them to plunder, and they may run me out fairly quickly. I mean, we'll see how this goes. Oh, I'm having trouble clicking on my preset marches just because the screen recorder feature is up. Okay, it's going to take me that. So I'm going to march. It's going to drop my peace shield, yes. But so I'm instantly now going to click this. I'm going to say rally, 1 hour set. And this is just so I can hide marches of my highest troops to keep them safe. I'm just going to go along and rally everybody who's unbubbled from their alliance. Just get these troops stashed away as quickly as possible. I can do one more rally. And these are called ghost rallies, is what we refer to these as. All right, so now I'm stuck with everybody else who's left in my castle. If those guys get hit, those guys get hit. I've got multiple marches here, so I'm coming on in. Now I'm plundering. Okay, I obviously won that. And you can see I was right. It was just a really little player that was in there. So now I'm plundering. And it's as simple as that. They may run me out. Who knows what they're going to do. I'll use some estate buffs here. I'll use my anti-scout so they can't see what's in my castle. I'll set attack. I'll use a defense buff. I don't really need march capacity yet. I don't want to stick even more in there at this point in time. We'll see how aggressive they are in defending this. So now I just sit here. If you click on it, go to treasure details, you can see what my plundering rate is and all of that. Because of the fact that they had over 100,000 treasure in there, I have benefits for plundering. If I hit details, you can see that the building capacity, since it's over capacity, as long as it's over that capacity, I gain plundering benefits over here. So I have extra percentages of my troop stats. I've used some guard talents. So for an hour, I have a 500% increase in my distance health. I don't have any cavalry in there, but, I can use this if I want to protect more troops that are just in my estate, that are left over. If I wanted to, I could, use the Colossal March and, March Wonder and all that if I really needed a huge march to knock someone out of somewhere. So basically right now I've got all these ghost rallies. So I've got 4 backup, fairly decently strong marches sitting in ghost rallies on these little castles. You definitely want to cancel those. If you're setting ghost rallies, make sure you remind people in your alliance, don't join other people's ghost rallies in UAC, because that way if you forget the timer, you don't accidentally send a march off on some poor little castle. I mean, you could be heartless, but I try not to be. So it doesn't look like they're being real reactive yet, so we'll wait and see how this goes. And as you can see now, I went from 0 points. I'm already starting to rack up a score from plundering. These are the different tiers here as I'm plundering away. As I reach these point tiers, I get these automatic prizes here. A lot of people do this where they move all their towers into the middle near all their buildings and protect them. My alliance is lazier. We don't do that. We just stack up around all our buildings all over the hive, and someone plunders and we can knock them out, we knock them out. And if some monster beast comes in and starts plundering and we have no chance to knock them out, then, they plunder. But like I said, this event is risk-free. So this is where you can test your alliance stats. If some big monster castle comes in and takes over, launch a rally on them with some of the bigs in your alliance. See how many of their troops you're knocking out per rally, how many troops you're losing per rally that you're healing up, and it's really risk-free. You can really flex in this event, so don't be afraid. This is the one event where you do not have to be afraid. You're not going to lose anything. They can't plunder your home castle if you're unbubbled. Even if they hit you, they're not going to be able to plunder and steal your resources. Any troops they kill go to the Kingdom Hospital and heal for free on a timer. You get them all back at the end of the event for free. So this is your chance. The ghost rallies are good. If you're, getting down where they've really wiped you, you've, just wiped all your troops, you can always heal 1 troop at a time. And anybody who has an empty building that's not being defended, jump over to their you know, kingdom, throw your one remaining sole survivor troop into their empty building that's not being defended, and you'll still be racking up just as many points with the one troop. So there's a lot of different ways you can play that. They have a strategy activated. My alliance has some strategies activated. A gap had opened up in our hive in a big giant monster castle that just had ridiculous stats ported in and sat there. So we used the eviction strategy under our alliance strategies here. We used this one to take their wall down and just make them pour out, and then we were able to fill that spot. And it also left, there were other smaller members of their alliance who were plundering the same building with that. So once we knocked that huge player out of our kingdom by using that, we automatically, then are more able to knock out those smaller players that thought they were safe, shielded by the bigger player that was there just a moment before that is now gone. And I also activated this where all my alliance members have a 20% increase in the attack of all defending troops for 720 minutes. So, that makes it where it helps when they're defending and things like that. So, that's pretty much what there is. At the end of this event, I'll do another video on just how to assign the alliance rewards, so that any R5s that need to go in and assign their alliance rewards at the end of UAC, that you know how to assign those chests. We do it pretty fair on our team. Of course, we give the best chests to players that scored the most, and we just go down the list and award those. But I'll do another video later on how to assign those so that any alliance leaders know how to do that. I can't think of a lot else to tell you about UAC. The goal is just to make the most points. I guess we can look at just now, kind of break down what the official rules of the event are, for any questions there. So only the R5, the alliance leader, can register your alliance. Eligible alliances are sorted into groups with a set of opponents from different kingdoms based on their levels of power, which can be deceiving. As you see, we're paired with 16. Which means they get the benefit of the 50% event that our kingdom does not. So they were able to grow for a lot cheaper. They've been around a lot longer. Their stats are a lot higher just because of the time they've had. So even though it's a similar power level of the overall alliance, the matching general power level doesn't mean that their stats aren't much higher. You have to have an alliance fortress to register. If your fortress is demolished during the stage of the registration where they're matching you with opponents, they're going to disqualify your alliance. If a member joins the alliance once the alliance campaign is underway, they can't participate. If you leave your alliance once it's matched, then you won't be able to participate in the event. And as you see, they've found several alliances, they say, that are of similar power, but as you see the kingdom range, we're kind of dead in the middle. We're 672, so we have opponents from kingdom 16, 215, 334, 599, and they all have the benefit of the 50% event. I believe that these two guys, 668 and 707, are in our boat where we don't get the 50% event to grow. It used to be that this event that's ongoing, instead of having on here these gold ones, it could be a 50%, resource reduction to do one building. So you do your castle for half the resources, half the badges. We don't have that benefit in our kingdom. So that's one of the things that's really unfair about these events, that although it's by similar power, they've had exponentially more, benefits as far as growing faster for cheaper and free. Continuing with our instruction set for UAC, event rules. Once the campaign begins, they distribute treasure, and it's based on the number of active buildings, how many towers, fortress, strategy center that you have. The fewer buildings you have, the less treasure you get to start with, so you're already behind as far as winning this event. If someone comes along from another alliance and demolishes your building, all the treasure automatically gets distributed from that building to all the other alliances, and you don't get it back. So you can't use a strategy of, if there's a big player in your tower, you can't just demolish the tower to knock them out. You're going to lose all the treasure that tower held, and it's going to go to your competing alliances. So Don't demolish buildings. Your buildings can hold a limited number of treasure, which is that, capacity of like 100,000 or whatever. And then once your alliance is plundered and it goes above that limit, people can plunder it at faster speed with bigger benefits, like I showed you the way I was plundering. And then when it gets down to, I think, about 30,000, you can't even get anything else out of the person's building. Their building is just pretty much emptied. It's at the lowest of its end, and you can't get any more. During the alliance campaign, you can teleport into opposing alliances' kingdoms to plunder treasure from their building, but plundering won't affect their normal status. So you saw me port into their kingdom. I used a campaign teleport to port into their kingdom, which you get automatically with the game, to do your port over. And then, of course, your plundering isn't the same as attacking their building. You're not going to damage their building by plundering it for treasure in the event. So that's what it means. It won't affect the building's normal status. For you to be in there plundering, it's not like you're going to be tearing down their building. When you're occupying the treasure reserves of their building, you gain a certain amount of treasure at regular intervals. The treasure you plunder will be sent to your alliance's building. So as I'm plundering this amount here in this tower, you see I'm getting 1,167 per second, and I've plundered 11,927. All of that plundered treasure is now going to my alliance's buildings in my home kingdom, and my alliance members back home are defending that treasure in the buildings. And now you can see I'm moving through my reward tiers here, collecting enough points. And then we go back in here, won't affect their normal status. My treasure is going to my own kingdom. You cannot gather resources in their kingdom. You can't occupy tiles in the other person's kingdom. You can't go around just attacking anyone in their kingdom who are not part of the alliance that you're matched against. And you don't have to worry about some player from another alliance in their kingdom attacking you while you're there. You can also pay gold to track an opposing alliance, and you can see where all of its members are if someone really makes you mad. And you want to follow them around and kill their whole family. That's how you do it. Kingdom Hospital, like I said, any troops that are killed here in the battles for alliance buildings and your castle being attacked while you're in, fighting with other alliances, they're just all treated as injured. Nobody dies. They all go to the Kingdom Hospital. Alliances regularly gain points based on the amount of treasure they hold. So if you notice, my Alliance Gods of War is getting plus 77 every second, or every 60 seconds, which is not very good. That means most people are not on right now. As you can see, other ones are getting more points for every minute. So I may have to bring some other castles over here soon to plunder, because we really need to get ahead of that. Anyway, back to our rules. Individual rewards are determined by the troop power sent to plunder treasure and the amount of treasure plundered by individual lords. Lords must score high enough to earn individual rewards. If your alliance is doing the strategy of one troop in the building to plunder, you don't want to put your one troop in with someone else in your alliance who has 500,000 troops, because they're going to be getting a lot more of that treasure out of there than you are. But if everybody's just got one, you're equally going to be getting the same amount out. The rankings are based on points earned by the end of the campaign, and rewards are distributed based on ranking. You need to watch your last few hours in this. Our alliance a lot of times will swoop in on the biggest alliance, like whoever's ahead of us, and just start knocking them all out in the last 4 hours or 2 hours of the event. And we'll just swarm in on them and start doing that, and we can knock them all the way back down and end up in first. That's what we did last time. When the event's finished, all alliances and lords who earned enough points will gain rewards, and the alliance leaders must assign the alliance rewards to individual members on their alliance page. I will show you that later. When the event ends and I go to assign rewards, I'll do another video of just that. And then, of course, if there's any connection issues, their server for the game goes down, something like that happens, then they'll go ahead and do the official determination of the results on whatever was going on prior to that. So yeah, I mean, if we look at individual points, this is kind of how at the end when you go to distribute awards, Over here in this blank box, the Alliance rewards will be sent when the campaign ends. You just have a row of treasure chests, and the best ones are at the top, and they progressively, decrease in what they give in the awards. So I just go through and I select my top player, the top chest, assign. My next player, the next chest, assign. Like that, but that's how you assign the rewards, basically. But yeah, this is the event to be aggressive. I usually send out an Alliance mail ahead of time reminding people that you don't lose any troops in real life, that everything goes to the hospital. And what I mean by that, the Kingdom Hospital, if you're not real sure, is if you go into your hospitals, I should have somebody in there from when I did that. Okay, yeah. So when you click on your medical tent, you click Kingdom Hospital rather than heal. And you see I have 54 T10 distance troops that I sent along for the ride to attack that tower. And it would take 2 seconds on a timer to heal them for free. So, boom, everyone that I injured while hitting that building is now healed for free. So that's basically the long and short of it. My castle's still just hanging out here outside of their hive and plundering. And I'll be doing this as long as I can. If they come and run at me in the tower, I can either let them hit and see how they land. If I win, if it's some big monster that's coming that knocks me out, I can either run or let them land on me and cause them some damage back, and then heal my troops on a timer, use a different march to either attack one of their other buildings, or I can leave this kingdom and go somewhere else that's easier for now, easier prey. It really just depends. There's a lot of different ways you can play that. But that's a basic overview of this event, and I hope this was helpful for you. So anyway, that's Ultimate Alliance campaign in a nutshell. Hope it helps a lot, and I'll see you again.